starter Pokemon in the next round, Pokemon
Опля.
Red or Blue. You get to choose between Bulbasaur, who is currently in the leads with $136
А кто это у нас донаты читает?
versus Charmander with
Это наш ВК.
$105 towards him. So if you
На,
like
я наш
Charmander
ВК,
more than
всё.
Bulbasaur, be sure to donate and select the starter Pokemon Beat War as your donation goal.
Alright, welcome back to ESA Winter 2019 in Växjö, Sweden. Robo and I just won the Let's Go Eevee vs Pikachu race, and we are joined here as well by the loser, Wartab. So, how does it feel?
Good. It doesn't feel so great, I'm sorry. But yeah, we won the final battle, so I'm really happy.
And if it helps, you did kind of train me a bit last night, so you can definitely glean a bit of something from that victory.
I agree, yeah. I helped Robo a bit practicing because Retro didn't have time, but that helped a little bit only.
Practicing with the enemy, I like that.
Well, we're all friends at the end of the day. Some of us are just slightly faster friends by about, just under a minute.
It all comes down to the boy.
It was all about the boy and the optional trainer versus the extra Pokemon.
I actually think there's a funny story behind this. I believe this is correct, but before Let's Go Eevee Pikachu was released, I actually had a conversation with Wartap because he told me he would want to go to ESA Winter. And I think it was back then we decided that he would buy Let's Go Pikachu and I would buy Let's Go Eevee so we could submit a race of this to ESA Winter. So this was actually planned long before ESA Winter.
Whereas my involvement was in ESA November, where we just had a lot of fun, just rubbing sand in Eevee's eyes and just generally messing about whilst also completing the game kind of quickly and hitting a load of optional trainers just to see if they gave any advantages, and it was just quite a lot of fun. So that was when kind of Ginny and I decided that we should get in on this action.
And yeah, unfortunately he couldn't join the race, but
No.
shout outs to Reagan Drake that actually covered.
Yeah, like you're saying, with kind of very little experience in the game or the run, and obviously with Ginny wanted to focus his efforts on Kingdom Hearts 3, which went really well. So definitely worth it in terms of the focus.
Definitely. But I don't think we mentioned too many facts about the run actually. Like they're pretty close to being even. Eevee versus Pikachu, but Eevee still has the small advantage. So, Wartap, can you talk about what advantages Pikachu has over Eevee?
Zippy Zap. And that's probably it. In this case here, when it's true co-op, it's actually better to have Oddish, because you never main switch until you actually get Aerodactyl. And I think that's like the only advantage. Maybe Dig helps for safety, and that's it. Because you're on the ground half the time, and so you cannot really get damaged except by Toxic. So I think that's it.
There's also the fact that Pikachu learns double kick at level 9 instead of level 10, where Eevee learns double kick.
That's not really an advantage, because Oddish just gets rid of Brock either way, even if Pikachu were only like level 8, so that's not really an advantage.
Well, it's just the advantage of Oddish then over Bellsprout.
Exactly.
And you also cheated by getting a lot of experience throughout like 3 times during the run, I think. Actually 4 times.
We had to resort to Chansey of all things.
And we didn't get a single Clefairy, so that was awesome.
Chansey's just like a big Clefairy with an egg.
And the advantages of Eevee, I believe, also comes down to the moves it gets in Cerulean, like the Sizzly Slide, Buzzy Buzz, and Bouncy Bubble. So it covers a lot more compared to Pikachu that only gets Zippy Zap.
And Bouncy Bubble covers a lot of the healing as well, because you had to take a fair bit of time out to heal, whereas we only really had healing sessions once we main switched.
Guess we can also mention the history of the leaderboards a little bit. We started out with the leaderboards having any %, where 2 controllers weren't allowed, like we mentioned in the race. We had 2 controllers, which we back then thought that's extremely overpowered. We have to make that separate categories because 2 controllers just OP. It must be much faster. And then we also have co-op as well, which is basically the same. But then we realized that using the second controller doesn't save more than a minute compared to any %. So we decided to merge the categories. So 2 controllers were allowed in any %. And recently we also split the leaderboards. So people can submit a Let's Go Eevee run, and people can also submit Let's Go Pikachu, and they actually have separate leaderboards, because some people didn't like that they opted for Let's Go Pikachu in the beginning, and then they got disappointed because Let's Go Eevee is a little bit faster if they wanted to go for a good time. So now we have split the leaderboards, so there's a separate leaderboard for Let's Go Pikachu and one for Let's Go Eevee. But it was pretty much Let's Go Eevee that had the top times in the previous leaderboards, where it was just merged back then.
Yeah, there's a good precedent for it as well, because the actually just having that co-op out the whole time is slower than even one controller. Like there's loads of times during the run, Nugget Bridge is a good example, or some of the Elite Four, like where you can just get away with having one person nowhere near it, and it's actually quicker because you're not going through the menus. You don't have to wait for them to warp in and out after every fight. So it just kind of speeds things up to everything. I think Retro, you were talking about a few times in our run when like this fight is actually quicker with 2 people, and you only really said that like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah, we also totally forgot to mention that Eevee had the disadvantage of having a relaxed nature, whereas they had lonely nature plus attack minus defense, and our nature was plus defense minus speed.
Yeah, so there's a few things where we're getting outsped, which did affect some of the things in the early game. I think, again, with sort of marathon routes, the kind of safety pool kind of counters that anyway, which is why we say we can still run it as long as it's not minus attack or minus special attack.
Yeah, I think our initial plan was also to have a backup save file, because you can have multiple profiles on your Switch and you can just create different save files by doing that. So we would have a backup Eevee and Pikachu with good natures, but then we decided that then we wouldn't be able to have the cool incentives in the beginning, like naming the rival, naming the character, hair color, and then also the name of the character. I already mentioned that was the last thing.
Yeah, because otherwise we wouldn't have Terry Crews, we wouldn't have Wetsuit Guy.
Exactly.
I feel like they made the run.
Pretty much. And a Diglett, of course.
Of course.
But it didn't have anything to do with the beginning. So now we also have a legit run that we can submit to the leaderboards.
And yeah, I finally have something that I can record, because I can't record normally.
But,
and we know it's legit because it's got the Diglett cap.
Of course.
Diglett cap plus save file at the end. Those are the two things that are required for a legit run.
But yeah, I'm getting a signal that we're ready for the next run, which is Pokemon Blue, any percent no save corruption, which is a really fun one.
It's a hugely fun. It's one of my favorites, I think, of all the Pokemon.
We're gonna watch this game get destroyed. So good luck to Genesis on the run, and yeah, enjoy.
Ну все, сетап закончился. Настало время Pokemon Red Blue. Это будет очень быстро. Настолько могу понимать, это категория, в которой, помимо того, что это и не процент, запрещено бесконечное количество сейв-лоудов. И это еще должно немножко нам ускорить время.
Oh god, Bulbasaur. Well, might be interesting. So, I just deleted my save file, and timing doesn't start until I hit new game, so...
Спускает свой специальный сейв-файл, и время начнется именно на том моменте, когда он сам захочет, так сказать.
Actually, based off the frame you start the game on, after a hard reset, and that's why I just did a hard reset, and I'm buffering a few inputs here and there. Might seem a little random what's appearing here, but everything has a cause. So that should be good. And go. First half of the run is rather boring, I guess. It's just the standard beginning of the game. And if you don't have a name for your firstborn yet, consider this name, please. It's great. Unfortunately, our rival doesn't have such a cool name. He's just called Red. And the beginning, as I said before, is just get the Pokédex as fast as possible, and...
В общем, придумали себе клевый никнейм, а вот нашего покемона зовут очень оригинально Ред. После того, как мы познакомились, нас превращают в Марио, и мы начинаем двигаться по синему
Ред
миру.
зовут нашего друга.
Ага.
Мы еще покемона своего не выбрали. Мы пошли из дома прогуляться, а к нам пришел профессор Ок и сказал, что не гулять там опасно.
Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle to us. And since Bulbasaur just won, we have to take Bulbasaur.
Ну вот сейчас мы выбираем себе покемона.
Run works with Bulba or Charmander, but Charmander usually has the more consistent rival fight. So that could be a mess right now. It doesn't matter if I win or if I lose, as long as the fight ends rather quick. Okay,
Выбираем Бульбазавра как самого сильного покемона начального.
Usually the Bulbasaur fights are very, very slow because Charmander can use Growl, which lowers our attack, and that's not a good thing. And best case scenario is Charmander only uses Scratch, and if possible, I'd like crit, but RNG sometimes doesn't want me to win, so... Ooh, 2 crits already for me, not too bad. Crits in Gen 1 have the property of ignoring any stat changes, like inflected by Growl or Tail Whip or such.
Кстати говоря, раннеру везет, и он не получает урона.
If we had lost, we would have skipped the level up text and animation stuff, but that's good enough, I think. I had way worse split times here, so it's still okay, I guess. And I want to make a little shout out. For every encounter I get, I'm going to donate $10. So this is $10 for
Если я правильно помню, то вроде бы мы в этих кустах 100% ловим бой.
А раннер пообещал, что за каждую встречу с рандомными мобами, которые не предусмотрены в кустиках, он будет закидывать по 10 баксов на черити. Такой вид благотворительности.
Забавно будет, если он ни одного не встретит.
Одного уже встретил.
To get a package for the professor who just ordered a unique Pokeball. And yeah, if you have any donations, feel free to read them. I'm just doing some postman stuff right now.
Ну, значит, надеемся, что...
A $10 donation from Baron saying, "Hey Mega Drive, I mean Genesis, Baron here. Good luck from the worst Pokemon Gold race opponent that you ever had."
Oh yeah, Baron, I remember.
Пришел донат с мемом.
Thanks for your donation.
Раннер ник читается как Genesis, а Genesis это английская версия приставки Mega Drive. Кто-то поздоровался с ним как Mega Drive.
Yeah, Spearow is a essential part of the run actually. Yeah, we just delivered the parcel and get ourselves the Pokédex now. And we have one trip to Viridian left, so one last time we had the chance of Route 1 encounters. So we're at 2 encounters right now. Yeah, if you have any left, go for it.
Oh yes we do. We have a $5 donation from Egen Basis saying Bulba Bulba.
Еще один донат Баба-Баба. Такой у нас был... Ну, этот же говорит Бабл-Баф в оригинале, который Джейси призывает Лаб-Баф.
$40?
Да.
I prefer Squirtle actually, but unfortunately Squirtle isn't an option in no. Okay, now things get interesting. We are first doing a shopping trip right here. For safety, I'm going to buy 3 Pokeballs and 1 antidote. Usually in a PB run, you only buy 1 Pokeball. That's enough for the rest of the run. And I need to remember to do the right Minip now, because I got Charmander. I need to save here. Hard reset the console. And I'm now manipulating RNG to get a specific encounter on a specific tile.
Вообще, если я правильно помню, Red and Blue мы вроде бы должны переключаться между Red и Blue версией.
Ну, сейчас он 2 раза в полуверсии проходит.
Тем временем уже сумма вырастает до $50.
The YOLO goal worked. It worked great.
Я не совсем уверен, кажется, была оговорка, что только когда он сбегает.
Возможно.
Но это
кстати
не
говоря.
точно.
Ну,
Okay,
кстати, он
now
с первой
we
попытки
finally
поймал
can get
покемона.
rid of Bulbasaur. We don't need it anymore. Well, we would have gotten rid of Charmander either way. The starter Pokemon is the only purpose for the starter is to do the rival fight, obviously, and to get the Spearow. So
Забавно,
I
что
would-
после этого еще будут одни покемоны.
And well, now the crazy parts start to happen. For safety, I'm going to pick this potion right here. And now I'm going to do another RNG manipulation. Luckily, look, you can buffer inputs in the intro here, so it's not frame.
А, то есть... Нам сказали в чате, что... Того покемона обязательно надо было найти.
Right here. And I'm going to do 2 A presses while in the forest. So let's see, counting trees. 2, 3, 4.
Это музыка.
And 1 A press here, and the rest is pure movement. So as you can see, I'm moving through.
Была аранжировка похожа на собачий вальс.
But one.
Да, кстати говоря, сейчас раннер идет по путям, в которых меньше всего покемонов
I
встречается.
specifically want this encounter right in front of this trainer. And now I'm trying to manipulate Pikachu. I just missed, so
Это Пикачу.
critting. And a Growl, because I didn't hit the frame window for the text box. Wow, another Growl. Pikachu doesn't want to kill me, unfortunately. Ah, here we go. And now, look closely what happens now. We are fainting and the fight is triggered. And I forget... Oh god. It's not a big mistake, but I forgot to heal my Spearow in the center to actually make the center my hub.
Что сейчас произошло? В общем, это должен был сработать глич. Получается, мы начинаем битву за Спэроу,
Not too bad.
просаживаемся
Yeah, I
до
got a
отрицательного
few
значения
after
ХП. Не забывай себя похилить один раз, что сейчас забыл раннер.
getting
Что
rid of
помогает
Growl.
нам через
That's not
один интересный глич скипнуть кусочек
So we
игры,
are
но
at
что-то у него
5
не получилось.
members in total. Five.
Он сам сказал, что это не особо большая
I'm
ошибка, все
counting
нормально.
Spearow and Pikachu. So if we enter the forest again, the fight starts. That seems a little odd, I think. Usually
Ну,
he
это уже
guards
значит, что
the
это
exit of the
не
forest,
VR.
but now he's here.
ВР должен был быть секунд через 20.
Мировой рекорд 11 минут 47 секунд.
If the enemy gets them.
Я сильно тороплюсь, понял.
Another crit, okay. And a string shot, okay. And pay attention what happens next, please. This is a little strange. The game starts. Well, the
Ну
fight
да, да,
starts
так-то
again,
вообще игра
and that's
проходится
because
за
the
3 часа, что ли, если я
right
правильно
in front
помню.
of the trainer, and the
Когда
game is
там
a
Red
little
был.
confused what's happening.
Покемон Red Out был.
So
2,5
just
часа
start
проходит игра.
this fight twice in a row. It doesn't really matter if I... Oh god. Win or lose? Oh god. Thank you.
На одном хп! Вот это
This
да,
is
вот
why
это
I took the
профессионализм.
lagging a bit, so don't mention the 17 error right there. It's supposed to be there. And I'm holding the stick, but I'm moving a little slow here, so the game tries to handle a lot of things right now. And usually the trainers right here have, well, he would have seen me already, but he doesn't.
Сейчас игра немножко сломалась, несмотря на то, что раннер держит кнопку «Идти вперед, не отпуская». Игра фризит нашего персонажа, пытаясь выровняться, исправить ошибку, но что-то у нее не получается. Обещает краш игры, если он подерется с этим парнем. Если он выиграет эту битву, то такой шанс будет приблизительно 25%.
Caterpie is our final boss, so to say. So, let's see if it worked. It worked. We're in the Hall of Fame now. And, well, thank you.
Ну, сработало. Классно, вы прошли все лиги, мы вас поздравляем. Вот в зал славы будете добры пройти.
Making the game think that it should warp us to Hall of Fame instead of the forest again. So timing ends now.
13:56.
Yeah, sub 14 could have been better, could have been way worse actually. So yeah, that was.
Обожаю я старые игры за это, что их настолько сильно можно сломать, что можно просто в середине или в самом начале игры сразу попасть в концовку.
Если вы не совсем понимаете, как это работает, не расстраивайтесь. Это просто фича этой игры. Ну, как и большинство игр на подобных геймбою платформах. Это было очень быстро.
Ну это да. Далее нас ждут покемон, трейдинг, карт, гейм.
Картоночки. Если у чатика есть какие-то вопросы, обязательно задавайте их. Мы постараемся ответить.
Ну, обычно такое происходит, когда мы переполняем какой-нибудь счетчик в играх подобного плана. Ну, вообще, во всех старых играх были очень много счетчиков. Когда мы их переполняем, игра выходит за границы кода, и мы можем произвести некоторые манипуляции с кодом.
Довольно забавно данное переполнение памяти работает в сериях «Принц Персии». Получается,